Now, in the joint statement between the two leaders, there was the announcement of the termination of the revised missile guidelines for South Korea. Back in 1979, South Korea agreed with the U.S. to gain access to missile technology, but had to accept limits to its own missile arsenal as part of that agreement. Over time, the agreed guidelines have been loosened, but they largely have been an obstacle to Seoul's development of missiles and other non-military technology. With that being abolished following the summit, South Korea finally has full control over its missile programs. Our Kim Do-yeon walks us through the history.
South Korea and the United States have agreed to abolish the current missile use guidelines, which limited South Korea's missile range to 800 kilometers. The guidelines had also limited other details around the development and ownership of missiles, and their removal means Seoul now has autonomy over its missile program.
또한 기쁜 마음으로 미사일지침 종료 사실을 전합니다. 바이든 행정부 출범 초기 한미 방위비 협정 타결과 더불어 한미 동맹의 굳건함을 대대적으로 과시하는 상징적이고 실질적인 조치입니다.
Back in 1979, Seoul agreed to obtain U.S. missiles and missile technology under close watch from Washington. While the maximum range first stood at 180 kilometers, it was extended in 2001 to 300 kilometers, and then in 2012, that range was further extended to 800 kilometers, putting parts of China, Japan, and Russia within missile range. Since 2017, updates turned to the details rather than the range. In 2017, the payload cap of 500 kilograms was removed, allowing South Korea's military to develop missiles that could hit most underground facilities in North Korea. In 2020, the use of solid fuel was allowed for space launch vehicles, paving the way for the country's advances in space travel. Revising the guidelines twice already in his term, President Moon said lifting them completely as one of his goals. And over the years, the U.S. has been reluctantly forced to accept the revisions as the gap between South and North Korea's missile technology was becoming a concern. But an abolishment of the terms is a huge change in stance.
We were able to change the US's position because the US realized the need for containing China just as much as promoting non-proliferation. Therefore, it was possible because there was a change in the idea that the South Korean military would develop its capabilities and cooperate in checking China's power.
As of now, released information confirms that South Korea does own a series of homegrown ballistic missiles called Hyunmoo that have a range of 800 kilometers. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.